Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going through another case study submitted by one of my viewers. The topic of the case study today is parental relationships, stepdads, step-parents, inheritance, bereavement, how to forgive a parent, eating disorders, and forgiveness overall. So let's begin. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. As always, I'm highlighting the key bits. Subject: I feel like I've lost both my parents. Hi Lina. I've been watching your videos for a while now and I finally found the courage to write to you because I honestly don't know what to do anymore. I'm 23 years old and 2 years ago my dad passed away after a long battle with an autoimmune disease. I'm so sorry to hear that. That must have been super painful. His illness was incredibly difficult on all of us. My mum became his full-time carer and I watched the strongest man I've ever known slowly deteriorate. It was one of the hardest experiences of my life. My parents built everything they had together. They met as poor university students, worked incredibly hard, started businesses together, and slowly built a very successful life. Everything they owned, they built from absolutely nothing. Before my dad died, he made it very clear in his will that half of the money belonged to my mum and half belonged to me. Okay. Although everything is currently in my mum's bank account, I wonder why that is, by the way. If you're 23, why is it on your mum's bank card? I mean, I'm not a financial advisor. I've got a friend that I can refer you to. But if you're 23 years old, if you're over 18, it should be in your bank account. It shouldn't be on your mum's bank account. That seems logical to me, I believe. You're a grown up now, you're an adult. You're able to invest to build your own portfolio and open a bank account even when you're 18, depending on what country you're in. I think in some countries you could even do it at the age of 16 if you get parental consent. But yeah, I don't know what country you're in. I don't know how the laws work there, but to me that rings a bell. I think that should be on your bank account. Anyway, let me read through the rest, but this is suspicious. Was that your mum's initiative? Or was that your initiative? Okay, so my dad left a written note explaining exactly how he wanted everything divided. Okay, so you've got evidence. About a year after my dad died, my mum met another man. Sorry, sounds like a rebound to me. I haven't even read the rest of this, but it sounds like a rebound already. Everything happened so quickly. Sounds like a rebound. Sorry, ladies. Okay, within a month of meeting him, he had moved into our family home. Yep, that screams a rebound to me. Also, that is very quick for a man to move in. And why did he move into your house? Did he not have a house of his own? Why is he living in your property? Why is he living at your address? That's shady to me. That's very weird. I've previously worked with women who got scammed by men. And a very common occurrence was men moving in quickly after the woman had gone through a traumatic event and was emotionally vulnerable. And sometimes men would live at the woman's property and then rent out their own properties. So that way they would financially abuse the woman. This is very strange. Why is he living in your house? I mean, people call me too conservative anyway and very traditional. But I personally believe that if you're starting a relationship and if a man wants to take it up a notch and wants to take your relationship to the next level, he should be inviting the woman to his territory. It shouldn't be the woman who has to invite him to live with her. I think this is a red flag. It happened too quickly. I've only read a few sentences, but this whole situation is already a huge red flag. You don't have access to your inheritance. Practically a stranger that hasn't been tested through the thick and thin is living on your territory in the house that I presume your parents built together, right? And where your father lived, by the way. And number three, he moved in within a month of them meeting each other. Ladies, that is way too quick. You won't believe this. I'm going to film a separate video. And the title will be, wait for at least 6 weeks before having sex with a man. And I'm going to explain my neuroscientific and psychological reasoning behind the title and why I believe that's the right thing to do. But once again, people call me too conservative and too traditional anyway, so take it with a pinch of salt. All the advice that I'm giving you now, I feel like I'm 75 years old mentally, once again, although I am 28. Okay, just like you're saying here, look, this is what I mean. The same home my dad built, this is what I mean. This is not okay, I'm sorry. What? First of all, it's only been a year, and why is he living in your territory? Also, it's one thing if he were to move in, if it was only just your mum living there, but it's also you living there. Did someone ask you, by the way, how you'd be feeling about this whole situation? I mean, you don't really have a choice now, do you? he already moved in, but the same home I grew up in, the same home where my dad spent the final years of his life. Okay, I know, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting the case study, but I just want to give a quick message to all the women. And I know you're already 23, but this still sounds very traumatic to me. And I'm sorry that you're going through this. But to all the women that have young kids, that are single mothers, that are divorced, that just bring random dudes off the street and then let them move in with them and then force their kids to respect them and treat them as their dad, please, before you do that, check the man 100 times. I used to work in SEN education. So that's education for kids with special educational needs. So that would be autism, Asperger's, learning disabilities. Sometimes that would be dyslexia, dyspraxia. Sometimes that would be ADHD. Sometimes that would be other conditions. And when I speak Asperger's, when I say autism, sometimes they would be high functioning, sometimes they would be low functioning. And because obviously you're working with kids, and I'm based in the UK, right? You get checked so many times. In the UK, there's something called the DBS check. They run psychiatric checks. They run criminal record checks. They literally run sanity checks. You have to have like at least 10 references. You have to fill out a bunch of forms. You have to see a GP. You have to see a psychiatrist. You have to get notes from like so many government bodies just to work in a school. So to my dear women, bringing in random dudes off the street and then inviting them to live with your kids, especially if you're a single mum, and especially if you're not around your kid 24/7. And this girl's 23, but I've seen this. Single mums feeling like their whole life is destroyed by their divorce. They feel unhappy. They feel like they need a man by their side. And then they're just forcing their kids into this whole fake family situation. The kid's not happy. The stepdad's not happy. Can I just tell you, please, if I, as an assistant psychologist in my early 20s, had to go through a bunch of checks in order to work in a school for kids with special educational needs, just to look after the kids for 6 to 8 hours a day. If you are inviting random dudes off the street to be living around your kid 24/7, please run checks. Please ask them questions. Please see how they treat your kids. And also, if you only know a dude for a month, and if you're not married, if you're not even in a civil partnership, why are you inviting them to live with you? If you are a single mother, right? If you are a single mother, you should only be introducing your future husband to your kid. It shouldn't just be the dudes that you're dating, right? Same goes for men, by the way. Dear men, if you have kids, if you're divorced, and if you are just bringing random women every single time, or introducing random women to your younger kids, saying, oh yeah, this is your new mummy. Oh yeah, this is Rachel. Oh yeah, this is Alicia. Oh yeah, this is Alex. And every single time your kid's like, okay, now it's a new one. Okay, what happened to the old one? Okay, this is like a conveyor belt, like all these women that we're being introduced to. You're traumatizing out of your kids, by the way. So please stop doing that. If you're not 100% sure that this is the person that you will spend the rest of your life with, that you will officially register your union with, that you trust 10,000%, do not introduce them to your kids. Do not bring them to your home. Stop fucking traumatizing your kids. Your kids are already traumatized either by bereavement or by divorce. So the fact that you're now bringing random people to your house, it's one thing, just like I said, it's one thing to bring a person to live with you if it's just you living there. But if you've got kids living there, and once again, I know in our case study, this girl is 23. Obviously, she's an adult, but if you've got young kids, do not do that. Don't. You can date all you want, but do that outside the house. Don't bring random people off the street. They might be predators. They might traumatize the out of your kids, just like I said. They might be scammers. They might be pedophiles. They might be abusers. They might be criminals. They might have mental health conditions. 1 month, ladies, 1 month is not enough. to bring a person to live with you, especially on your territory, especially that you've got a kid. What the are you thinking? I'm sorry, that should be a criminal offense. As a psychologist and a neuroscientist, I'm telling you ladies, that should be a fucking criminal offense because you're traumatizing your kids. And the extent of trauma, oh my God, we need a separate video about this. I can't fit this into just a 20-minute video here, but this is insane. Anyway, I haven't even finished reading this. Sorry, I've just come across this so much. Speaking as someone who used to raise a child, speaking as someone who was a stepmother, speaking as someone who worked with kids for a long time, kids with special educational needs, but also neurotypical kids, you cannot do that. And there's a reason for why all those schools ask for so many papers and checks and medical checks and so many documents, and why they run those checks. That's only for the people that look after your children for 6 to 8 hours daily, 5 days a week. Imagine this person is around your child 24/7. What the fuck are you doing? Get your act together. Anyway, nobody asked me how I felt about another man moving into a house. It just happened. Look, you absolutely can say no to this. Once again, I don't know what the laws are like in the country where you're based. I don't know about your inheritance, what the paper said, and who owns the house legally, right? But you absolutely can say no to this. Why are you being forced to live with a random dude off the street? And that's your house as well, right? At first, I tried to be understanding because I knew my mum had been lonely after losing my dad. I'm sorry, you don't have to be understanding about this. You also lost your dad. Yeah, she lost her husband, but you lost your dad. First of all, why is she bringing the man into your house? Why is she not living with the man in his place? And how about your feelings? Who's considering that? You've gone through so much stress. You've dealt with bereavement. You've literally watched your dad pass away slowly from an autoimmune disease. That's something that needs to be considered. That's a heavy factor. I'm sorry, guys. And also bringing this man into a home that both your parents built together. No one's taking into account your feelings. This is not right. I'm sorry, but it sounds like your mother is going through something, and it sounds like she's trying to forget your dad, and that's her way of dealing with bereavement, to just enter a rebound relationship. But once again, you also lost your father. That's not your responsibility. You also need to make sure you're looking after yourself. Why is he living on your territory? Once again, I'm not getting this. Ladies, what is this? I'm sure he's a grown adult. I'm sure he has his own place. If not, he can rent one. Why is he living on your territory? This whole thing is just messed up. So at first I tried to be understanding because I knew my mum had been lonely after losing my dad, but over the last year, things have become unbearable. Their relationship seems incredibly unhealthy. They argue constantly. Okay, sounds like a codependent relationship already. Sorry if I'm too harsh. I have to be, as always. Sometimes they're shouting at each other one day and then acting like nothing happened the next. Okay, and then you're having to witness all of that. Brilliant. What a brilliant way. If your mother is watching this video, then I hope she can hear this. If not, just send her the link, please. What a wonderful way you've created to help your daughter live with bereavement. You're adding extra stress. You practically brought a stranger to your house, and now you're acting like you're the only victim when actually your daughter, who's younger than you, is also dealing with bereavement. Her father lived in this house, and now you're trying to replace him with some random dude off the street with whom you clearly have a codependent relationship that you're using as a rebound to forget your husband. I'm sorry. This is not okay. Sorry, guys. This makes me angry. Sometimes they're shouting at each other and then acting like nothing happens. It feels chaotic. Yes, because it is chaotic. It's a codependent relationship. It screams codependency. The problem is that this man has also made me his target. He constantly criticizes me. Okay, I would love to learn more about that. What does he say? He didn't really mention. He comments on my body almost every day. Oh my God, this is a recipe for disaster. This is how young women develop eating disorders, by the way. Speaking as someone who survived anorexia after 12 years and nearly died from it. Yeah, someone just also made a comment one day, and then that escalated to me counting calories, running on the treadmill for like hours on end, not eating anything for days, my thigh bones sticking out, and I was still feeling like I was never good enough. Just because some random person decided to make a comment because they felt like they're allowed to, just because they felt like they're entitled to make that comment. He comments on my body almost every day. If I eat bread, rice, or pasta, he'll say things like, no wonder you're putting on weight. First of all, we need carbohydrates to function. Our brain needs carbohydrates. Speaking as a neuroscientist, once again, we need carbohydrates, so fuck this man. No wonder you're putting on weight. Maybe you should spend more time in the gym instead of eating. You're getting fat. At first, I laughed it off. No, you didn't have to. You should have stood up for yourself. Oh my God, please send my video to this douchebag. So, sir, whoever you are, my favorite thing is when men comment on our bodies. Men don't go through menstrual cycles. Men don't give birth. Men have no idea what menstrual pain is like. Men have no idea what it's like to deal with sexism, sexist comments, catcalling every single day. They have no idea what it's like to be a woman living in a man-made world, created for men, created by men. So I'm sorry, my favorite thing is when men tell women what to do with their bodies. This is unacceptable. You should have never laughed it off. You should have stood up for yourself. And you should have said, fuck you, bro. Fuck you. Who the fuck are you? First of all, you're living on my territory. You're living in my house. Now you're commenting on my body, telling me what I should and shouldn't eat. Who the fuck do you think you are? This is how you should speak to them. Ladies, this is how you respond to situations like this. When men feel entitled to make comments about what you're wearing, how much you're eating, what you should or shouldn't be eating, how much you're exercising or how much you shouldn't be exercising, what makeup you should or shouldn't be wearing, what kind of clothes suit you or don't suit you. Fuck you. Honestly, never laugh off things like that. The more you laugh it off, the more this will continue and the worse it's gonna get. You should never be laughing this off. Always stand up for yourselves. Always respect yourselves. He's such a douchebag. This is abhorrent. This is terrifying. He's living in your house. Now I dread eating around him. No wonder. He's a pest. He's a bloody pest that's living in your house. He's a parasite. Now he's affecting your mental health as well. I'm starting to feel guilty every time I eat carbohydrates, and I honestly think I'm beginning to develop a really unhealthy relationship with food. My self-esteem has completely collapsed. Okay, this is a recipe for disaster. This is a recipe for disaster. This is how eating disorders escalate. This is how they form. You've got the trigger of bereavement. You've got the trigger of your quickly changing family system dynamics. You have a stranger living in your house who feels entitled to comment on your body, on your diet, on your exercise routine, and your physical appearance. This is slide 2 out of the 5. I haven't even gotten to the end of this. But that's only part of it. He constantly starts arguments with me. He blames me for things I haven't done. If something goes wrong in the house, somehow it becomes my fault. Sounds like he's just trying to force you out of the house. He's a pest. Told you. We need pest control, ladies. I've also recently found out from my uncle and cousins that he regularly speaks badly about me behind my back. Maybe he secretly likes you. Maybe he is sexually attracted to you. I wouldn't even be surprised. Also, it's very strange. And I don't know how you're dealing with this. Just reading this makes me feel super uncomfortable. And you're dealing with this every single day and you're living with this person. You know, Freud's basic human drives were sex and aggression. And Freudian theory literally talks about reaction formation. So that's a defense mechanism that occurs when a person unconsciously masks an anxiety, or when a person unconsciously masks an anxiety-inducing or unacceptable urge. Hereby, that could be his sexual desire for you, his sexual attraction towards you, by expressing its polar opposite. So it's Freudian psychology, guys. I'm sorry, I just instantly thought of that. Also, why is he commenting on your body? This is surreal, and you're living on the same territory. Okay, tell me more. So, apparently he tells people that I'm lazy, entitled, and living off my mother. He lives in your house. First of all, he needs to move out and live in his house. The strange thing is, I'm beginning to feel like he sees me as competition. Yes, he does. It sounds like he does. It also sounds to me that he's sexually attracted to you. I'm sorry. Or maybe even as an obstacle because of the inheritance. Right, next slide. The strange thing is, I'm beginning to feel like he sees me as competition because of the inheritance. I genuinely believe he wants access to the money my parents built together. He's incredibly focused on money. My mum pays for almost everything. Okay, I've got all the puzzles lined up for you. He's a scammer. Yeah, it's not that he sees you as competition or an obstacle. He wants to force you out of the house. If she's paying for everything, if she's letting him live on your territory, I bet you he has properties that he's renting out probably. So he receives passive income. He doesn't have to pay for anything. And he's abusing your mum financially. Brilliant. Mother, well done. That's one great way to take care of the daughter that's lost her father. And guys, 1 year is not a long time. You're still dealing with bereavement. That's one way to support your daughter. Just bring a random dude off the street, pay for everything. And I wonder, does she stand up for you, by the way, when he makes these comments? I want to know. Let's carry on reading. She pays all the household bills. She pays for the groceries. Okay, so he's a gold digger. I love this. Whenever I hear guys tell me, women use us for money. We're being used. All women want from us is our money. Women are gold diggers. Gold diggers? This is an example of a gold digger. A man that's not living in his own property, that terrorizes the daughter of the people that built the house, that is abusing the mother financially, and that feels entitled to comment on female bodies. Screw this man. I would say this to his face if I ever saw him. Feel free to send him my contact details. I'll have a chat with him. This is not okay. This is unacceptable. I don't know why I'm laughing. This is ridiculous. She's even investing money in his business. Oh my God. Okay, this is actually not funny. She's gonna blow all the inheritance away, by the way. I hope she doesn't write the property on his name, but I wouldn't be surprised. It sounds like she's influenced. Honestly, on a serious note, she's clearly influenced. She's under the influence. Yet he contributes very little from what I can see. The thing that hurts me most is watching my mum slowly change. Whenever he insults me, she says nothing. Okay, this is betrayal. This is betrayal. This is a form of betrayal. Your mother betrayed you. Whenever he criticizes me, she stays silent. Yeah, betrayal. She's on his side already. If she's silent, that means she's taking his side. Whenever I try to explain how hurt I feel, she tells me I'm overreacting. Yep, it's okay. So she is on his side. She took his side. The fact that she's not standing up for you means she's taking his side. She agrees with him because neutrality means acceptance. It's like she's become a completely different person. Recently, I was accepted into my dream PhD program at one of the top universities in the country. Oh, congratulations. That is very hard to get into. If you're based in the UK, that is borderline impossible. So well done to you. I've dreamed about this for years. I thought my mum would be proud of me. Instead, she told me she wouldn't help me pay the tuition fees. So hold on. So you're telling me that she's paying for him. She feeds him. She invited him to live in your house. She's invested into his business, but then she doesn't stand up for you. She never asked you whether you're okay with him living at your place. And you also own the place. If your father wrote a note saying this, if that's in the inheritance papers, then girl, you need to take your money. Why is it in your mother's bank account? You're supposed to be on your bank account. You need to take your half, if it's half, whatever it is. And just, why are you asking her for money to pay for your PhD? Your father left you an inheritance. You're legally entitled to that inheritance. You don't need to be asking for permission from this dude or from your mother. This is insane. I don't think you need a consultation with me right now. I think you need to be speaking with a lawyer right now. And you should be doing that as soon as possible because this person clearly has a lot of influence over your mother. And this is not looking good. This is really not looking good. And I haven't even finished reading the slides. This is already super concerning. You urgently need to have a consultation with a lawyer, please. You need to go and get those inheritance papers. You need to have access to them. Because if there's somewhere in your house, this person might do something to them. You never know. He's clearly an abuser. He's capable of anything. You don't know who this person is. And that person is living in your house. You literally have a cockroach. You have a cockroach, and we urgently need pest control. I've dreamed about this for years. I thought my mom would be proud of me. Her boyfriend keeps telling her that I'm old enough to earn my own money, that I'm a liability. Oh my God, how dare he? And that she shouldn't waste money on me anymore. Okay, this is crazy. So he thinks that it's acceptable for your mother to be paying for his expenses and covering all his costs while he's living at your house, but then you are not supposedly entitled to your inheritance. And the money that's on your mother's bank account is your inheritance. That's the inheritance that your father left you, that you should be able to have access to. So you don't need me, just like I said, at least for now. You need a lawyer. You need to speak to a lawyer. This person is dangerous. People like this are capable of anything. People like this are great manipulators. They've studied human psychology, maybe for a couple of decades. Once again, I don't want to frighten you, but maybe he's already got a plan, like a legal plan to get access to your mother's money. If she's already invested into his business, and I wonder what funds she used for that. Because if she's already invested part of your inheritance, this is atrocious. You urgently need to get access to your inheritance before your mother squanders all of it on this gold digger in the face of this douchebag. Sorry, I have no other words. I'm speechless. This is not a case for a psychologist. This is a case for a lawyer. And it has to be dealt with right now, today, because he clearly has a plan. He clearly knows how to pull the strings over your mother. He clearly has influence over her. And he's a great manipulator. And your mother is under the influence. He found a vulnerable woman. He's manipulated her. He probably has studied all her weaknesses. And he probably already has a plan about how he's going to acquire this wealth that your parents have built together.